Good morning, students. My name is Bhagyalakshmi. I am going to teach you one of the most important chapter in statistics, that is analysis of data. We learn in economics statistics as statistical methods that you have already learned. Statistical methods are the stages of statistics, the methods used in statistics to prove the economic theories and laws. And there are 5 stages in statistics. The first stage is the collection of data, second organization, third presentation, fourth analysis, and fifth interpretation or conclusion of the data. So, today we are going to learn the fourth stage of statistics, that is analysis of data. In this chapter, what we are going to learn? We are going to learn the meaning of central tendency, the concept of average in our day-to-day life, arithmetic mean of various series, and also any other alternative methods to calculate arithmetic mean is there. So, first of all, we will start with again explaining about statistical methods. Economic data are usually studied with the help of statistical methods. The theories in economics are usually proved with the help of statistical methods. Why? Because economics deals with human behavior. All the economic laws and theories relate to human behavior, which cannot be taken into laboratory and tested. So, we use statistical methods, statistical stages to prove an economic theory. I already said what are statistical methods. They are collection of data, organization of data, analysis of data, presentation of data, and interpretation of data. So, once again, science of statistics is a method of collection, classification, and tabulation of numerical facts which help in explanation, description, and comparison of phenomena. Now come to the chapter analysis of data. Let me tell you what is this analysis of data is. Analysis of data means it's a process of examining the data, testing the data. Whenever an economic theory is constructed, it has to be tested. Now, how to test a theory which is related to human behavior? For that, we take the help of analysis of data. Analysis of data is a technique through which the significant fact from the numerical data are extracted. In order to test the statistical theories related to economics, we use the analysis of data. So, simply put, analysis of data is the examination of the data. The data, that is numerical information, which are collected, organized and presented, are analyzed. How are they analyzed? There are many techniques of analysis of data. The most important techniques of analysis of data are the measures of central tendency, the measures of dispersion, the measures of correlation, and index numbers. These are the 4 important techniques used in statistics to prove or analyze the economic laws and theories. The most important method or technique used to analyze statistical data is the measure of central tendency. It is a most common method used in statistics to prove the economic theories. Now, what is this measures of central tendency? For that, we have to divide this measures of central tendency into 2 parts. What is central tendency? We should understand what is central tendency. Central tendency relate to one central value or a representative value of the series. That means a single value which will represent the entire series. and that single value is known as central tendency. And the method which is used to find out that central value or the representative value of the series is known as the measure of central tendency. So once again, I'll tell you what is central tendency. Central tendency is a central value or a representative value of the series. That means a single value which will represent the entire series, and that value is known as central tendency. And the technique or the method which is used to find out that central value is known as the measure of central tendency. So, one of the most important objects of statistical analysis is to get one single value that describe the characteristics of the whole data, and that representative value will represent the characteristics of the whole data. In statistics, we deal with certain problems which are largely affected by multiplicity of causes. You may be remembering in the first chapter when we learned about the meaning of statistics, we went through that definitions of statistics. One of the definition given by Horace Sechrist. Horace Sechrist defines statistics as what? Statistics. By statistics, we mean the aggregate of facts affected to a marked extent by multiplicity of causes, numerically expressed, enumerated and estimated according to a reasonable standard of accuracy, collected in a systematic manner for a predetermined purpose and placed in relation to each other. So that means in statistics, we deal with certain problems which are largely affected by multiplicity of causes. There are so many causes which we deal in statistics. Whatever conclusions we draw are based on combined effect of the various causes, and it is very difficult to trace out impact of all such causes separately. So there are so many causes for the problems, and we are not able to find out the correct reason for these causes. So for that reason, we take upon or we calculate one central value or one central problem which will explain the entire problem related to the series. However, the first step in data analysis is to ascertain representative values from the raw data. And that central value is known as the average. And the method of finding out that central value is known as the measure of central tendency. So once again, I'll read out: tendency of data to cluster towards the central location or value is called central tendency. That means it is the tendency of the data, the different items, numerical values of the data to cluster around, to roam about the central value. So that particular value of the series around which all other values cluster is known as the central tendency. Now, why should we find an average? What is the purpose and function of averages? First of all, these averages are very much important to convert the collected information and raw data in brief. That means we collect numerous informations. So many informations we collect. And when we collect the data is in a raw form. So, in order to present the data in a very brief and clear form, we use the average. So, average helps us to convert the collected information, which is very complicated information and which is in a very raw form, which is not in an organized form, briefly. So, average helps us to convert the collected information and raw data in brief. Also, the average helps us to compare between two or more groups. There may be so many groups of data, the data related to height of students, the data related to weight of students. We can compare the height and weight of students with the help of an average. So once again, I'll repeat, averages help us to convert the collected information and raw data in brief, as well as average help us to compare between two or more groups of data. This average help us to present a representative value from the raw data. Averages help us to present a data which will be representing the entire data. And also, averages facilitate future policy and program. So many policies and programs the government undertakes. How does the government undertake programs? Say for example, employment generation programs. We already have learned about employment generation programs. How does the government take up this employment generation programs? It is through with the help of the average value which is calculated about the unemployment ratio in the country. Hence, the averages facilitate future policy and programs. Now, we are going to learn about the measures of central tendency in detail. Measures of central tendency, as I already said, it is the measure of a central value or a representative value of the series. And in this measures of central tendency, the most important measure, the most important technique is arithmetic mean. There are many measures of central tendency. The most important among them are arithmetic mean, median, mode. These three are the most important measures of central tendency. And in this, the most simple method of finding out the central value is arithmetic mean. And this is the most commonly used method of finding out the central value. Now, what is this arithmetic mean? Arithmetic mean is the value which is obtained by dividing the sum of items by the number of items mathematically. Arithmetic mean is the simple average. Arithmetic mean is written by the symbol x bar. Now, what's the formula of arithmetic mean? X bar equal to sigma x by n. In this, x bar, I already said, x bar correspond to arithmetic mean. Sigma, the sign, stands for total. X stands for the values of the series. The numerical values of the series is denoted by x. And n stands for number of items of the series. So once again, I'll tell you, x bar arithmetic mean equal to sigma x by n. In this, x bar is the arithmetic mean, sigma x is the total of the x values. Now, what are the x values? X values are the numerical values of the data, and n stands for number of items of the series. So, arithmetic mean, as I already said, it is average. Arithmetic mean, precisely it is mathematical average. Arithmetic mean, very clearly if you say, it is mathematical average. The other two measures of central tendency which I said, that is median and mode, they are positional average. They are positional average because they denote a position. Whereas arithmetic mean, it is the mathematical average. Now, an example I am going to give you. There are 10 students in a class. They scored the following marks in economics out of 10. You can see the table here. There are 10 students A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and the marks obtained by them are also shown there. You can see. And now how to find out the arithmetic mean of this 10 students of this particular class? What we have done? We totaled together the marks obtained by all the students So we got sigma x. We totaled together the marks obtained by the 10 students. So we got sigma x. Sigma x we totaled together and we got 50. 50 upon 10. 10 means the number of students of the class. So the average we got is 5. So on an average, that means on an average every student of this class obtained 5 marks. This is one method of finding out the arithmetic mean. Now we already learned that in statistical series there are 3 different types of statistical series are there. Individual series, discrete series and continuous series. These are the 3 different types of statistical series. Individual series where we represent the numbers or the numerical values individually. Second, discrete series where we represent the values with their frequency. In continuous series, the values are arranged in groups and the number of items coming in each group are given as frequency. So there are 3 types of series: individual series, discrete series and continuous series. The calculation of mean of these 3 different series are done in 3 different ways. Let us start with this. First of all, individual series. Individual series, there is a shortcut method of calculating arithmetic mean. Individual series, x bar is calculated by the formula x bar equal to a plus sigma dx by n. In this x bar arithmetic mean, a stands for assumed mean, dx stands for deviation of the x values from the assumed mean, n stands for the number of items. In this shortcut method or assumed mean method, what we do is one among the value of the series we assume it as mean. So a stands for assumed mean. One among the value we assume it as mean, and then the deviations or differences of the x values are calculated from the assumed mean, and then we total together the deviations of the x values from the mean and denote it as sigma dx, and n stands for number of items. This is the formula of calculating mean by the assumed mean method in the case of individual series. Now let us have an example. There is a question: ascertain arithmetic mean from the following marks secured by 10 students out of 30. The marks of 10 students are given 4, 3, 8, 9, 12, 10, 25, 10, 21 and 20. And how to calculate? According to direct method, it's very simple. What we do, we total together all the x values. That means all the given marks totaled together divided by the number of values, the number of items. So x bar by n, that means 122 by 10. So we get 12.2 as the mean. But in the case of shortcut method, what we do is we will denote one value as the mean. So here we have denoted 12, one among the given values 12 as the assumed mean, and then we have calculated the deviations of the x values from the assumed mean, and the deviations are totaled together and we have applied it in the formula. The formula is x bar equal to a plus sigma dx by n. That means 12 plus 2 by 10. We get the answer, same answer, 12.2. Now we proceed on to the discrete series. Discrete series, there are again 2 methods of calculating arithmetic mean. One is direct method and the other is shortcut method. Repeat. One is direct method and the other is shortcut method. In the direct method, x bar or arithmetic mean is calculated by the formula sigma f dx by n. In this, N stands for the total frequency or the sum of frequency. Here we have to be very clear in that. In the case of individual series, N stands for the number of items, whereas in the case of discrete series, N stands for the total frequency. And here sigma f into dx. That means dx means the total of x values into frequency. In the direct method, we calculate arithmetic mean by the formula x bar is equal to sigma f into dx by n. In this, n stands for the total frequency. Here we have to be very clear because in individual series, n stands for the number of items, whereas in the case of discrete series, n stands for total frequency. Here, the given x values are multiplied with the corresponding frequencies to get sigma f dx. It is divided by the sum of frequency to get the x bar. In the shortcut method, again one among the value x value we assume it as a and then we apply the formula a plus sigma f dx by n. Now there is an example for you. Discrete series given, the number of children per family is given and the number of families are also given. The number of families correspond to frequency and number of children per family correspond to x values. Now how to calculate this? In the case of direct method, we calculate the x bar arithmetic mean by multiplying the f values with their corresponding x values and getting the total. So, we applied the formula x bar equal to sigma fx by n. That means 420 divided by 140 is equal to 3. So, 3 is the mean of the given series. This is according to direct method. Now, we proceed on to shortcut method. In the shortcut method, as we did in the case of individual series, here also we will assume one among the x value as the mean. So, here we have assumed number 2 as the mean and we applied the formula x bar equal to a plus sigma f dx by n. Here assumed mean is 2 and from the assumed mean deviations are taken. Deviations of the x values from the assumed mean are taken and thus deviations are multiplied with their corresponding frequency to get f dx. And the f dx is totaled together to get sigma f dx. And it is applied in the formula. So, the formula once again I will repeat a plus sigma f dx by n equal to 2 plus 140 by 140. Now, we proceed on to continuous series. In the case of continuous series, 3 methods are used to calculate the arithmetic mean. They are direct method, shortcut method and shortcut method with step deviation. So, one by one we will learn. Direct method, the formula is x bar is equal to sigma f dx by n. In the case of shortcut method without step deviation, what we do is x bar equal to a plus sigma f dx by n. In the case of shortcut method with step deviation, arithmetic mean x bar equal to a plus sigma f dx dash by n into c. Here c is the common factor. Let us proceed on with an example here. The marks secured by 300 students in a school is given below. We are asked to calculate the mean. You can see the marks in classes and the number of students are also given. And now how to find out this? In the case this series we can calculate arithmetic mean by direct method. By direct method the formula is x bar equal to sigma fx by n. So, here we calculated f into x. The mid values of the classes are multiplied with their corresponding frequencies and the total together to get the sigma fx and it is divided by n. N stands for total frequency. So, we got here the mean as 35. In the case of shortcut method without step deviation, we have applied the formula x x bar equal to a plus sigma f dx by n. That means here one among the mid value is taken as assumed mean. Here we have taken 25 as assumed mean and we have got the deviations of the x values from the mean, and the deviations are multiplied with their corresponding frequencies totaled together to get the sigma f dx. And then we have applied it in the formula 25 plus 3000 divided by 300, 25 plus 10, we got the answer 35. So, we proceed on to the next method. It is shortcut method with the step deviation. So, here also the formula applied is x bar equal to a plus sigma f d x dash by n into c. Here we have calculated 25 plus 300 divided by 300 into 10 equal to 35. This is how the mean of the different series are calculated. Now, once again, arithmetic mean is a theoretical value which may not be represented by actual fact. Example, if in all there are 27 children in 10 families, the average number of children per family would be 2.7. We know that there cannot be 2.7 children in a family. So, that means that 2.7 is unrealistic. This is one of the greatest drawback of arithmetic mean. There can be either 2 or 3 children per family but not 2.7. Now, the arithmetic mean cannot ascertain or examine a qualitative data, the data which contains honesty, bravery, royalty or beauty. Now, what you have learned today, you learned about the meaning of the term central tendency, the concept of average in our day-to-day life, the arithmetic mean of various series, and how to use the alternative methods to calculate arithmetic mean. Thank you, students.
घर बैठे पाएं राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय शिक्षा संस्थान यानी NIOS में एडमिशन, वो भी एकदम आसान तरीके से, जिससे शिक्षार्थियों को होगी समय और धन दोनों की बचत। NIOS से शिक्षा कभी भी कहीं भी। शिक्षार्थियों, क्या आप जानते हैं NIOS में एडमिशन लेने का सरल और सुगम तरीका, जिससे शिक्षार्थियों को ऑनलाइन प्रवेश लेने में सहूलियत मिलती है। NIOS में प्रवेश की प्रक्रिया पूर्णतया ऑनलाइन है। शिक्षार्थी घर बैठे इंटरनेट द्वारा प्रवेश के लिए सबसे पहले NIOS की वेबसाइट www.nios.ac.in पर लॉगिन करें। अपना ईमेल आईडी और पासवर्ड डालकर अपना पंजीकरण करें। पंजीकरण के बाद लॉगिन करने पर ऑनलाइन प्रवेश हेतु आवेदन पत्र खुलेगा। आवेदन पत्र को निर्देशानुसार भरें और प्रिंट आउट लें। इस प्रिंट आउट पर अपनी फोटो संलग्न करें। ऑनलाइन प्रवेश के लिए शुल्क हेतु भुगतान के तरीके हैं: क्रेडिट कार्ड के द्वारा, डेबिट कार्ड के द्वारा, राष्ट्रीयकृत बैंक के ड्राफ्ट के माध्यम से, जो कि सचिव NIOS नई दिल्ली या नोएडा के पक्ष में देय हो। भरे हुए आवेदन पत्र के साथ साथ डिमांड ड्राफ्ट और संलग्न किए जाने वाले दस्तावेज हैं: जन्म रजिस्ट्रार के जिला कार्यालय से जारी जन्म प्रमाण पत्र की सत्यापित प्रति, जिसमें जन्म तिथि अंकित हो, पिछले विद्यालय से प्राप्त विद्यालय छोड़ने का प्रमाण पत्र, जिसमें आवेदक की जन्म तिथि लिखी हो। ऑनलाइन ऑन टाइम फॉर सेफ एंड सिक्योर एडमिशन।